That's gonna kill us all, guys.
Welcome to Terra Sentia, episode 4, actual play. We're really excited to be here, and we have to drink right away because hiccups are happening.
I need a beer.
Yeah, totally. We
I forgot you brought all PPRs.
definitely have to recap some stuff, but we are missing Shanna and Will tonight. They will not be joining us tonight, but they'll be back next week. They're off enjoying. That was funny.
Do you need a towel?
Yeah, just a little. It barely spilled, but.
Yeah.
I don't have
That was hilarious.
You guys, I'm not even high right
I
now.
almost did it.
That's why.
Last week, but I didn't.
Thank you.
That was great.
Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, I can use this one.
It didn't get on any cords or any of the things down here.
Well, you know what the You know what the best
Short
part
term,
about that is that I watched you do it. Like I just looked there randomly and I just saw you just go and you look at me and you went. I thought you were doing this like a
I wasn't trying to be an
drop
ass.
the mic thing or
Yeah.
something. It was
I was just moving
hilarious.
because I was like, oh, Ashley doesn't have one, so I was like, yeah.
I also saw you doing it, and I was like,
Did you know there wasn't a cage in it too?
yeah, but I couldn't like make it connect in my head that you were actually gonna set it down.
Why
I was
isn't
like,
the
no,
cage
that's
just
not-
in there anyway?
Because when we were given the 2 extra cup holders, they didn't come with cages. So we have 2 cup holders that do not have cages. And so they have sort of like migrated and floated around the room and some had. And I would say that like out of all the cup holders, that one's used the least.
Sorry.
So, don't be sorry. It's fine. It was way more funny than anything.
And it didn't go on the table.
Yeah.
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 Best case scenario, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, no Will or Shanna this week, but they will be back next week. It's gonna be fun.
Sadville.
Whatever.
High
Yeah.
mountains.
So the recap for last week. You all were venturing into a sort of high altitude
Infested.
wooded area known as. Let me think here. Let's see. Next to the Grundle River, it was the. And it's on the Kashar outskirts, the Kashar Forest outskirts. The Jawbone Flats. And with a river that runs right through there, the Grundle River, you all were looking for a collection of mushrooms called the Strassman Collective. This collective is known to have magical, mind-altering composition to the point where Time was very interested in getting their hands on it. So, so there you are. For some of you came along. Like, why did you come along on this whole?
Because I was trying to get into the oh my god, I'm forgetting. Ren's, I was going to find Ren, and she was going on this mission, and I was going wherever the one person who I know, I think of her as like a keeper of secrets. I'm sorry, him. As a keeper of secrets.
Yeah.
And I am along for the ride, and he can't leave me because I'm vulnerable and also a liability.
Vulnerable, liability, and the fact that Ren is acquainted with your parents and to a certain extent, your entire family. To a certain extent. Okay, and then why did Keth go along on this journey?
They said they might need me if we had to go through the Kashar Forest, and I didn't want to leave Sparky by herself because I felt like since I had kind of like taken it upon myself to make sure she got there safely, I didn't really feel like this was a safe situation to just like leave her in.
Right. Yeah, it almost seems like everybody had a little bit of we have to protect the small child kind of thing. Like everybody, it felt like everybody had a little bit of that responsibility, like going around the table in some way, shape, or form.
Why bringing her on? How bringing her on a dangerous mission is a good idea. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, I don't think we expected it to be this bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were like, oh,
Ren-
we're going to get some mushrooms,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
It'll be fine.
Ren very much had that point of view, for sure. And why did you go along?
Ferg's a little bored with being in the library and pit fighting, and wants to learn something new, and so I was like really wanting to learn from Ren, and Ren thought it would be probably a good idea to bring some muscle. So
Right. Okay. Well, in you went. You.
Stepped in a couple bear traps.
Well, and that's only after you camped for a few nights. You got deeper into the flats and saw a bunch of mostly like a field full of like really old mining equipment.
Yep.
That perhaps was powered by, gosh, you're not even sure, steam or some very, very old stuff.
And it was Sparky's mother's last name that was on the mining company side, right?
Yes, her
Yeah.
last name's July.
July.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miranda, but not as cool. We love you,
last name's
Miranda
July.
July.
That is your adopted family's last name, so therefore it would be your last name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was her mom's maiden name, or is it?
Yeah.
So it's her mom's.
They
to
didn't
call
take
it,
each other's names.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To call it her maiden name is a misnomer because she just simply kept her name, and your adopted father, Brutus Hollow, kept his name, and decided to. Okay, so this isn't part of the recap, but I will say that like your parents, you've heard. It wasn't quite an arranged marriage, but it wasn't quite like completely out of like benevolent love. There was an arranged component to it, and so your father comes from a long legacy of and your mother as well, to the degree where when they got married, they changed the July the July company. Actually changed their name to the July Conglomerate.
Okay.
And that it now, like, it's sort of like absorbed the Hollow company.
Okay.
So, yeah, so long story short, you're definitely would, if anybody would ask what your last name is on any sort of official form, it would be July. And so you guys get deeper in, and you come across a weird sort of hermit inside of this area that avoids you at first. And after a few encounters with these very, very strange and blind creatures with weird, like, pustules and growths all over them, you finally get to a point where you make it to the Sawmill Falls at the very end, in which this hermit by the name of Hoffer agrees to take you, helping you out. You guys were very thankful. I mean, you were at a certain point, like you were just like, oh,
At
yeah,
first.
thanks.
Yeah.
At first, yeah. And then it was just bear trap after bear trap after bear trap. Some of you were horribly injured, like bones, like broken bones and that kind of thing.
I would say maimed.
Yes. And then one of you, I can't remember who it was, basically like accused Hoffer.
It was me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I was
And
like, fuck you, you're doing this.
and then
you threw a dart at him.
yeah, you
Yeah.
threw a dart.
No, because I think I accused Hoffer. I was like, no, you're leading us. Because it was when you got hit the first time. I was like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
But I was super, super high and couldn't talk about it.
Right.
And like threw a dart, but hit him with this, like, it just bounced off his face. It didn't actually stick.
And he ran away.
And he ran away.
Well,
Until he pushed
You
Teth
finally
into the
got-
damn pit.
yeah, you finally got to this giant pit in the shadow of this massive waterfall, and then there was a couple of things kind of happening simultaneously. You heard this this loud sound, kind of slowly but surely, kind of overtaking the area. You heard dogs barking in the distance, and finally, a couple of things happened. Hollis came out of nowhere and pushed Ren into the pit.
Hoffer?
Nope.
Hoffer. That's what did I say? Hollis?
Hollis.
My bad.
Pushed
Hoffer.
me into the pit.
Yeah.
Pushed you into the pit.
I was holding the rope because I'd lowered first.
Because I was down there looking around.
Right. So now it was just you two, and then slowly but surely,
I took a bunch of fall damage.
you took a bunch of fall damage. More of those creatures were down there, and they ended up kind of circling you and closing in on you. You jumped down there almost in kind of...
Panic.
Yeah.
Well, the Zeppelins were coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the only person that is up on the surface right now is Time.
Mm-hmm.
And Time sees two dogs heading over this ridge and two humanoids with bows.
yeah.
And they fired at her and she
They-
deflected it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time used a shield and deflected it. And so, and we ran all the way through the initiative order, and we're actually starting right away with the creatures. I know that you're unconscious now, right?
And we're
Sparky?
both standing over Sparky on dodge.
You're standing over Sparky on dodge,
Back to
and
back.
Ren is...
Did I go on dodge?
Yeah, you did, because I convinced you not to attack them, remember?
I threw the food, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you could go on dodge.
I think with... I don't know. I don't remember saying that I was on dodge. I just remember throwing the food and saying that I moved back to back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple of things.
Oh, yeah, because I offered up an AO and he didn't take it.
I didn't take it?
You didn't take it.
Went for it. Something kind of went for it.
Yeah, because the thing went for the food. Because I was like, hey, look. Because you were like, what's pemmican?
Yeah, I remember that. We had the whole pemmican talk.
Yeah.
I still don't know what a pemmican is. What was it?
It's a mash of dried berries, dried meat, and fat.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's the original Lara bar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
Pemmican.
delicious.
It
sounds
I love that
awful.
word. Pemmican.
Yeah.
Pemmican. I just want to say it over and over
It's
again.
probably good for you, but...
Okay, so a couple of things. From what I remember, there were two creatures closing in.
Yep.
There was one creature that you threw the pemmican. It was on top of you, but it darted off.
Yep.
And is basically going for that. And then there are two other creatures in the farther distance, probably about 40 feet away, and they're closing in. Ren has their bow out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
His bow out.
Yep.
And
I thought they were closing in on Ren because he just shot one of them.
yeah, one of them is. Like there were two that were closing in, and then the one that you threw the pemmican at, that one was already on top of you.
Yeah, and we split.
So there's 5 total? Is that what you're saying, or there's 4 total?
There are 5 total.
Because we killed one.
I
Yeah.
just annihilated one.
Yeah.
And I think you injured the one that you threw the meat at,
That's
too.
true.
Yeah.
That's totally true.
I
And
smacked
Ren
it
injured
first.
one, too.
Yeah.
So there's 2 injured and 3 fine.
Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to remind you of is that there is this beam of light that has shot down into the pit. And if you look up and trace it, it's absolutely coming from the airship.
Yeah.
And it reminds you of it's a kind of a bluish whitish light. It is not hot. When you if any of you got near it, it doesn't cause any damage. It's not like, it doesn't seem like it's harmful, but it's there and it's bright and it's ever present.
You said it was illuminating the dead body of the creature, right?
It is illuminating the dead body of the creature. As a matter of fact, it's over top of that body, illuminating it, but it's not, the body's not sizzling or anything like
Nothing's
that.
happening. Okay.
But you said it was also a super narrow beam. It was like...
Yeah, so it's about as thick as it's about doubly as thick as this coffee mug.
Okay.
Is it having any effect on what it's hitting?
No.
No, like none. At least none that you can see or perceive. The body's not smoking, or it's not bursting into flame. It's not freezing. It's not doing any of that. So, the first thing that happens is that there is some kind of a shift up top where you can feel that it gets a little bit more breezy and like windy. Time, however, is very time recognizes it way more than you guys are. You guys are in a pit, so there's lots of like wind shielding all over you. But all of a sudden, like you kind of see Time on the edge of the pit, and like her hair is just madly whipping around, and her robes are madly whipping around, and she yells down, and I mean really yells. She says, "We've got to get out of here!" And then at that point, let's see. There is a very slight frequency that happens that all of you can hear. Well, if you were conscious, you could definitely hear it. And it's just really, really slight. It's just... and all of a sudden, all of the creatures that are in that area, some of them that are in mid-run, they like screech down on their knees and they like hold their ears like, as if they were in a serious amount of pain. The one gets a hold of the ancient Larabar. God damn it, I already forgot it. Pemmican. Grabs a hold of the pemmican, and the moment it grabs a hold of the pemmican, that frequency happens, and it drops the pemmican and like just holds its head. And a couple of them that are near you, the two that are near you, they're going to close the distance, and one is going to attack you. It was coming for you, and then one is going to attack Ren because it was coming for Ren.
They're still attacking even though they're in like huge amounts of pain.
Yeah, like you could tell that it affected them, but they were also in mid stride and they're too close.
But like a disadvantage, right? Because they're in so much pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Are you hit by a 20?
Yes.
Okay. And then Ren is not hit by something that low. So you take let's see, it has a bit of like a small like broken bone in its hand that it's using as like a makeshift club. Oh, but it only does 4 points of damage to you.
I'll take 2 of that.
Okay. You're raging at this point?
Oh, I've been raging for the last 2 rounds.
That's fair.
I pretty much started raging when the creatures showed up. I like this whole half damage thing.
Right.
I'm like, oh.
So that's, but the ones from afar, they kind of like, they grab their heads and they wander towards you 10 feet, but it's clear that they're not following a straight line anymore. Like one of them actually gets a little wackadoodle and like just heads off diagonally and almost runs into the wall practically. That's them. Keth.
Okay, so I'm seeing that these creatures are not really attacking us anymore, or there's one right next to us that just attacked Ferg.
There's one next to both of you that just attacked Ferg, and then there's one about, I would say 5 feet from you that's on Ren.
Are either of those two injured? One of them's the one Ren shot, right?
Neither of them have been. That's a really great question.
Like,
Ren shot one.
I feel like Ren shot the one that's dead.
Yes.
Because that was the one that I smacked and then
Is
Ren fired down.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's 2 dead then, because I also killed one. Last turn.
Yeah, there were.
I did a short sword and a smack in it.
Well, regardless of the numbers, there's one
So
that's all about the pemmican.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are 2 that are on you, and then there are 2 that are distantly, probably about 30 to 35 feet from you, but all of which are
Uninjured.
being affected by uninjured and being affected by this noise. So
Okay.
so yes, the one that's near Ferg is uninjured.
But time also just screamed at us that we need to get out of here. So like up or down, like out or like through.
Does it look like there's like tunnels we can keep going deeper into, or are we just in like a?
Oh,
small
there are
area?
tunnels. There are definitely tunnels that you can keep going deeper into.
Maybe ask
However-
Time what the hell she wants to do.
What's that?
Maybe ask Time what the hell she wants to do. I guess I don't have a say.
Yeah.
No, but I mean that's
Yeah, I would
though.
guess I would ask Time where should we go from here, but like I feel weird because that's asking you. You don't have to like tell.
So Time says,
Like, should we keep going down or should we come back up to you?
Time yells something to you, but in mid-sentence, stops and looks like she's ducking out of the way from another arrow. And so it becomes somewhat of a, I think we should, and then that's it.
Okay.
I guess if she's not jumping down, then
She is not jumping down, but you can kind of look and see that she's not quite confident what to do either.
Okay. I honestly don't think we should go up there.
I would like you to make a Arcana check,
Okay.
and I would say Ferg, you can also make this check.
can the wind
I got an
thing
8.
that Time does, can that help her? Would that be able to help her like ease her fall if she were to jump down there?
It's possible. Yeah. What'd you get?
I got an 8.
What'd you get?
19.
Okay. So here's
Bookworm.
the thing.
Nerd.
There's a rope that's still attached
is there?
to up top. Yeah, because you.
Oh, because of Ren.
Ren.
Oh no, because
I was attached to the
you
rope.
were attached to the rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
So
cut
you-
apart now, but
You have no rope whatsoever. Time does not have a rope up there. Okay.
How did Ren just jump down?
he tucked and rolled. He took like
Okay.
5
Tucked and
damage.
rolled. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So.
Oh
so
yeah, because he bounced off my shoulder.
It's looking bleak.
Yeah.
However, you know what this beam of light is. You've read about it in books. You've never seen one. As a matter of fact,
Is
you're
it the
taking a
fucking
little bit of a
rope
risk.
trick?
Huh?
Is it rope trick?
No, not in terms of like what people know the spell to be as rope trick.
Yeah.
This is somewhat of a personal tractor beam of a sort. But you know that it will take you up into the ship.
Yeah. So
You also know that
trying to think of
Fallenstein,
this-
in and of
six
itself,
words.
while I think we as the world builders have painted it in like a negative light, it is certainly not an uncivilized nation
Yeah.
or people. These are folks that wouldn't necessarily like kill you when they've gotten on board. They're clearly here for a reason,
Yeah.
and you all are assuming what that reason is. I'm saying as the GM that nothing's been explicitly said.
This is true.
So I guess I would turn to you and say, what do we do, Ferg?
That light's the way out, but it's way up to the airship. So we trust these soldiers.
Ket's gonna like kind of look at you and you see like resolve cross his face and he's gonna bend down, pick Sparky up, and then just like
As
go
you
over
pick,
to it.
yeah. So and you don't have to go far. It's literally 2 feet from you.
I'll just reach out then.
Yeah. You bend down and pick Sparky up, and you, in kind of a blind, and I say that like blind as in blind fury, the creature is just like clawing out madly, trying to hit something, trying to grab onto something. So you reach out and grab Sparky, and and sort of you do that, but you have to like recoil for a second, and then you like scoop Sparky up real quick, and you reach over and you reach out and try to grab it, and it basically it's nothing that you can grab. Your hand goes right through it, and as a matter of fact, when you get about this close to it, it actually sucks you in as if you were a piece of metal and it was a magnet. And then you feel your entire continents sort of get lighter, and you just begin to raise. And so you've got Sparky over your shoulder or something like that?
Well, I mean, she's so tiny, I'm probably just like holding her like
Yeah,
this.
you're just like...
Just got her like cradled in one arm and I'm holding my short sword in the other.
You're ragdolling her.
Yeah.
Are you stabilized or are you still rolling death saves?
She's got one success right now.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance.
It hasn't gone back around to her turn yet.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Well, and we haven't had a chance to
So
stabilize
medically
her
stabilize her.
Um,
Do it for the kid.
and
For Sparky.
Ren looks at you and he just says, "What the fuck are you doing?"
The kid's down. We're gonna die down. I'm not dying down here. If I'm gonna die in a pit, I'm gonna at least make some gold first.
Okay.
Someone's gonna pay me for that shit.
Or somebody's gonna win a lot of money for that shit.
So it's Time's turn. Time is going to cast us. You can kind of barely hear Time up on the top of the pit casting a spell. There's lots of wind. Now there's kind of like this weird low like turbine sound that almost feels like it's way too close. And you may or may not hear shouting coming from above. So yeah, Time casts a spell, and then it's Ferg's turn. Oh, and you lose sight of Time. Like, Time moves away from the side of the pit.
Yeah, Ferg looks at Ren and is like, not in the business of letting children die. Ferg's also feeling kind of conflicted because they're not really sure if they're in this business or not. So they're gonna scoop up the rock that they had Sparky turn into a flashlight, throw it in their pocket and be like, all right, Ren, jump for the light.
And that's what you do?
Yep.
So your hand goes near it, and then suddenly it just it's kind of wrenched inside of it, and you start raising. To be clear, you raised about 20 feet.
Okay. So am I like
Almost
in the
out of
light,
it,
or can
right?
you still see me like as a full like body?
You can still see some of your body. Your arm is sort of like trapped in the light as you're holding Sparky, and it's not like pulling it out of its socket. As a matter of fact, it's like I said, like your whole body seems to be like way lighter than it is. It's almost like you're just like suddenly like a helium balloon just kind of floating up.
Do I feel like I could let go once I'm out of the pit?
Do you try?
I don't know.
The pit, I mean, if you're only 20 feet up, the pit was 30 down. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not quite out
Yeah,
yet.
30 down, you're 20 up, so you're starting to be able to, it's starting to crest, you're be able to see a little bit more. Yeah, so you are basically, it latches a hold of your arm, but again, you just feel
red
almost
pencils
completely-
trailing behind. We're just like superheroing up.
Yeah, right? And, okay, so 20 feet up, and Ren's like, you can see Ren down below just sort of shaking his head, but at the same time feeling so helpless, like, so, and then it's my turn. So, the wolves end up closing,
Oh, I forgot about the wolves.
I would say, almost the entirety of the gap between them and Time, but they don't have enough action to actually like attack or latch on or anything like that. So they come barreling down. All of you that are being raised, you basically hear all that barking happening, and then Time does not get hit by any of the arrows.
Where are the people with dogs coming from?
They're coming from up on
No, I mean, where, like, do we recognize who they are?
You haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
And
Or
especially
does anybody,
you, since
does
you.
anybody recognize? Does Time recognize them?
Well, I'm not going to answer that because Time's not here, so she may or may not recognize them. So that's what I'll say. And let's see, and then it's Ren. Oh, wait, and then they're starting to make their way slowly down. The wolves are going way faster. They're closing the distance way faster. The the two humanoids are kind of coming down this hill, this embankment, and trying to be careful while they're doing it because it's not exactly like it's pretty steep.
And they're not mountain goats.
And they're not mountain goats. Exactly. And let's see. So that's them. Ren shoves his hand in the light and basically starts to raise up. And that's Ren's turn. Sparky, I need you to just roll a d20 essentially for your death save.
You got this.
God damn it. Come on, Sparky.
So that's one failure. And so right now you have one success, one failure, right?
Yep.
Okay, draw.
Can't they help me out once they get me to the airship?
That's kind of what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Although
possible.
if you die before we get up there, then we can't do it.
Do you have any potions on you?
No, the only thing we have is Ferg has 2 mushrooms that shocked us back to life, but...
Don't really want to put the kid through that kind of pain yet, unless it's like dire.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I don't have anything on me though. None of us have pots. I don't have any gold to buy any, so... monk living.
The creatures...
I didn't think I was going to need them.
The creatures converge, and you can see that
They start eating Hoffer's body?
some of them find Hoffer's body because they're all effectively blind right now, and I mean like completely blind, and so I would say like one finds Hoffer's body, a few are wandering around. One of them accidentally runs into the light and starts being lifted up. Kef.
Can I see that one's being lifted up below us?
Go ahead and I would say...
Or am I raising up higher now? Can I see the wolves or the people outside? Like,
Okay, so first of all, let's just say you move 20 feet. You're going to move 20 feet more because that's going to be like kind of a full action. You're moving 40 feet whether you like it or not upwards. Okay. You don't see that the creature is being lifted from below.
Okay.
However, when you crest the pit, you do see the 2 wolves. They are, I mean, probably less than a second away from mauling time. And then and I would say that yes, you do kind of look around and you
How far away are the wolves?
You do see from you. They're about 15 feet.
15 feet. Okay.
And then that's when you spot, kind of look over there, and that's when you spot the 2 archers.
Am I concerned that they're going to hit me? Or does it look like they're letting the ship take me?
You're not sure. They haven't raised their bow and arrow to target you yet.
Okay. So I'm not sure that they're like together or anything yet.
They look together.
Okay.
They look like they're both heading down this embankment together.
No, I mean with the ship, or like, so I'm not sure the people are with the ship.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because if I thought they were together, I would assume they weren't going to shoot me. If the ship's intention seemed to be to lift us up, but if I didn't think they were together, I would be concerned that I was about to get shot with an arrow while I floated through the sky.
They are not wearing any Palestinian sign at all.
Okay.
They have no Palestine sigil on them. Not like the ship does.
All right. Well,
and they are yelling things. Although there's a lot of noise out here, so
I can't really pick up on it.
I would allow you to make a perception check, but it's highly unlikely.
Okay. No, probably not. It's a 6.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Actually,
They're just
one.
gibberish at this point. So,
Okay.
So high winds. Now that you're out, like your hair and your clothes are blowing everywhere.
Well, I'm pretty sure, based off of what you're telling me, that I can't do much. So I'm gonna just go on dodge, and like I guess my version of that while floating through the sky is essentially like I would kind of like curl my body away from the archers so that Sparky wasn't facing them, and just hope that they don't shoot me.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I have my sword in my hand, so I can't like throw a dart at the wolves or anything like that.
So for future reference, and I'm gonna let you do go on dodge, but making a perception check inside your round is an action.
Okay, you don't have to let me go on dodge then. It's okay.
No, I just go on dodge. But like in the future, just know that like that's why I use the passive perceptions a lot, and that's why I have them written down. Okay. But yeah, this time around you're on dodge.
Cool.
Time. Time casts another spell and begins to sort of circle around. Like the wolves are not quite on top of her, so she's basically she's running away from the wolves, casting a spell in back. One of the wolves gets seared by like a flaming, like a firebolt that she casts, but it's not looking good. Ferg.
The wolves came out of the woods, not from up top, right?
The wolves came from... Well, you don't know. You honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, they didn't come with the dudes?
Well, that's what Connor's asking, and I'm saying because Ferg was down in the pit, they don't know.
I'm trying to remember from, like, not Ferg, but me as a player, what happened last time.
You as a player, they did come down with the two archers.
So now we're, like...
You're like 15 feet away from time, theoretically.
Yeah. If I don't have anything to jump off of.
How long is red pencil?
About
Weapons with reach are 10 feet. And weapons with reach are 10-foot distance usually.
Yeah.
Even if it was large. It's like the...
What do you do?
We're going to yell at time to head for the light.
Come into the light.
No, just be like, hey, time, jump this elevator. It seems safer.
getting ripped up by wolves.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry.
You don't have any projectiles, huh?
No, but I have the iron. I have the iron tome. Can I? Is my one arm that's in the light like useless? Can I reach for the book and throw it at the wolves?
Do you reach for the book?
Yes.
So you basically, like, it kind of feels useless because it originally it kind of yanked up your arm.
Yeah.
And so your arm's been up this whole time, but the moment you try to just do whatever you want to do, it has you now like almost independently.
Okay.
Like it's almost like it has you by your entire backside almost is just like attached to this like beam of light. So yes, you can move your hand independently.
Yeah. So we're gonna
and in the middle of you doing this, you realize that however it happens, you start ascending a lot faster. Like it basically just doubled its speed.
Jeez.
Gives you that kind of sinking feeling in your stomach.
Yeah. Oh, fast elevators. We're gonna throw it at the wolf that time didn't hit, so the unsinged one.
You're gonna throw the tome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently say goodbye to it.
We'll go back for it.
I can make a new one.
That's fair.
Is it hit with a 19?
Most definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how's this? Would
Really
it
squishy
take
damage.
Would it take the damage of the actual tome?
Sure.
Okay.
Why don't we say, well, I would call a tome an improvised weapon.
Well, yeah. So, but I've been using it as as a mace, I think.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're saying is you as a character are used to wielding this tome.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what is that? As a mace, D6 or D8?
1d6.
Okay. Bring it.
I like these candy die. Damn it. 7.
Damn it, 7.
So it
On a 2.
wouldn't have killed the wolf if Time didn't blast it with a firebolt. It had already been singed and it was partially on fire.
Well, I was going for the other one.
Oh.
I was specifically hoping to like break a leg or something.
Well, no. It kind of thuds down into its torso, and while it did do damage to it, it is still moving strong. Yeah.
And again, we yell at Time like,
You.
jump this elevator, please.
She has a confused look on her face.
Where did you learn this word elevator?
And okay.
She can see us floating upwards though, right?
Yeah.
At speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about mushroom. I hope Ren takes care of the mushroom
Reach
dude.
out. Reach red pencil.
The one we killed?
I guess you can't like grab a leg.
No, there was one that got sucked up.
Oh, right
After
below
Ren.
Ren. I forgot.
Yeah.
Kep, what's your armor class?
What's my AC?
Mhm.
13.
So 2 arrows hit you.
Okay.
How
I'm
many?
definitely down.
Okay. How many hit points do you have?
1.
Okay. So you get hit,
And I take a death.
and then your second arrow is you take an automatic failure in your death save.
Does that mean Sparky falls?
It does mean Sparky falls, but it also means that Sparky kind of like falls and sort of like tilts down this way, and then goes, and then just sticks right to the beam.
That's good.
And it
Yeah.
kind of wrenches you, Sparky. And I'd like you to make, even though you're unconscious, you're definitely not dead. And sometimes, like when someone's unconscious, they can kind of come in and out. I'd like you to make a perception check. So that would be, if you're not proficient in perception, it would just be a wisdom check.
No, I'm just wondering if I have a negative. Oh no, yeah. Okay.
You reroll
1.
Will you re-roll it?
Yay, halflings.
20.
She's fucking lucid.
Yeah, so lucid, in fact, that
Half dead,
when
but I know what's going
when you
on.
come out of it and your eyes sort of go from unfocused to focused, you look down and you hear the snarling of the wolves, but you see the 2 men closing in, and one is definitely your brother, Joseph. Definitely your brother.
Okay.
So much so that like you're 100% positive to the point where it actually sends you into kind of a panic and you just pass out again.
Okay.
So,
No wonder I got shot.
Useful.
Ren is gonna hold on to the light.
What else can?
Yep, exactly. Sparky, no
Is-
death save, please.
Well, you can shoot
Oh,
an arrow, I
yeah.
guess. But...
Yeah, would Ren
Um,
do anything about the mushroom maniac that's below them?
Or
on
one
the
of
light?
the wolves or something.
Or when,
Can I use inspiration?
Ren does not have the same insight as you do into, like, Ren thinks that their arm is useless.
okay.
So, and there's no communication. Ren's kind of panicking at this point.
Yeah.
And quite frankly has never experienced this weird beam of light thing. It's very not rangery.
I mean, I've only read about it. So.
Right. And I want to back up real quick and say that the 2 wolves converge on Time. And one misses, but one actually tackles Time, and Time actually goes down. It like pulls her prone. That's it.
How do I use inspiration again?
You use inspiration.
You can use it after you make a roll if
Yep.
it's a bad roll to make
Okay.
it better.
Yep.
Yay. I'm gonna do that.
Roll a 20. Just roll a 20 again.
16.
That's a success.
That's a success, yeah. If you get a 20, you automatically come up to 1. That's why Connor was saying get a 20.
Yeah. So you have 2 successes, 1 failure. If you get to 3 successes, then you stabilize.
Right.
But you don't necessarily. You're still at 0.
Right.
And after Sparky, creatures do what creatures do. Let's see.
Didn't the creatures go when the wolves attacked?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope. The wolves go on Bill. And Keth, you need a stabilization check from you.
Roll 20.
20!
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Legit rolled a 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay.
So-
Connor just like super like helped me out there.
So immediately, like, what do you say when you come out of this? You have 2 arrows, like really inside of your body.
I think I would kind of just like let out like this like awful scream and then kind of just like cough. Like it would definitely startle everyone around me. Like
And-
this really like guttural like yell like oh fuck.
Yeah, and just a bunch of blood just
Yeah.
coming down your mouth.
And then I would say like Sparky like and then I would look down and see her floating and I'd be like I thought you were trying to help us and I would yell at the men down there like what is this basically.
And they yell something back, but you still can't hear them.
Okay.
The wind is just too intense. Dogs barking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's and then like the thrumming of the energy cord that you're attached to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of that basically equals you can't understand a word they're saying.
That's fair.
I
guess I would just.
But they're certainly gesticulating like one's just like pointing up and doing this and then raising their bow again.
Like they're gonna shoot me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's my action is rolling the 20, so I don't do anything else.
Okay.
You're an equivalent of like flipping them a bird in your culture.
Even if there was, I don't think Keth would do it.
After Keth is time. So time is basically getting up, standing up.
Jump in the light.
And she jumps in the light. She basically disengages, to be fair, like disengages, and then just jumps into the pit. But what that amounts to is like she falls down just a little bit and then just gets stuck to the light and then.
Hopefully not super close to the creature.
That is a very interesting question. So I'm gonna say that a 1 or a 2 means that she's a bit too close to the creature because it was kind of right in that time frame. So I will say that she is 10 feet from that creature, and she's actually below the creature. So the creature will get up
First.
Yeah. So.
How far am I from the top now?
You mean to the actual ship?
Yeah.
About 120 feet.
So I have a lot of ways to go.
Well.
It's going pretty fast now. So
Yeah, it's now going. It's now like in
40.
6 seconds, it's going 80 feet.
Okay.
That's 4 times. You're saying 20 feet per 6 seconds.
Oh, I was saying 20 feet per action.
Okay.
Right. So almost it was 20 feet per 3 seconds. Now it's 40 feet per 3 seconds. Yeah, it's you're now like going up like very very rapidly. Ferg, it's your turn.
For blocks.
What?
Oh, how are we doing for time blocks?
We're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You said to remind you sometimes.
Fish. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Fisher sends me
Oh
texts, so I keep my eye out.
He's so quiet. I forgot he was here today.
I know.
He usually texts us things.
Did we see the arrows go into...
My blood's
Okay.
dripping on you for sure.
Yeah. Like, no, we definitely were like, okay, but did we see the...
I will
arrows get
say.
fired?
That with a passive perception, yes, but you didn't see where they came from. You were looking down at Keth because Keth's been your only sort of like.
Keth's above me.
Or you're looking. You're looking above.
Okay.
And you're either looking below and above, and you looked up at Keth
Yeah.
right when they were impaled with 2 arrows.
So we're gonna look out, and do we see people with bows?
You do.
Cool. We're throwing a javelin at one of them. Does anybody remember if I used one of my javelins before?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that I was down to 3, so.
I feel like Bill said we could
Let's-
pick it up that time though, because I think I used a dart that time too, and he said that the situation was.
I don't feel like
Unless
the situation we were in, I could have picked it up.
maybe you threw it somewhere different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust both of your judgments on that because I don't remember.
Yeah. I'm just going to say that I have 3. So, yeah, we're throwing a javelin at one of the bow wielders.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hoping they're within range. Are they hit with a... Thrown is not strength, that's dex, right? So I don't get my plus for it.
Well, is it versatile or is it?
No.
Well, no. Thrown weapons, you can. You do have the option of adding your strength
Okay, so
modifier. onto
It's
it.
just bows that have to be just dex, right?
Correct. Or daggers.
okay.
I think daggers. Like, what does dagger say?
Dagger, it says finesse light thrown. So finesse weapons are...
So actually, just look up thrown real quick in the description, and it'll actually tell you. I'm almost positive it's one of those items where you can use strength or dex.
Perfect.
Weapon, make range attack. If
part
the
of my
weapon is a
backstory-
melee weapon, use the same ability modifier for that attack and damage roll that you would use for melee weapon attack.
There you go.
So, yeah, so I got my +5 on that. So I was hit with... Is he hit with a 21?
Yes, he definitely hit
Cool.
21. Part of your backstory.
is that I injured my brother before I left, which was the deciding factor in my leaving. So he's up and running now, at least. So that should be, I can be horrified and pass out from him, but like, he's, at least I know I didn't kill him.
You didn't kill him, but you certainly see the fucked up scar that you left on his face.
Okay.
Yeah.
His face is fucked up.
And 6 points of damage from that javelin.
Did you throw it at the fucked up face one?
Yes.
So.
Of course I threw it at the fucked up face one.
Yeah.
I was
mean, duh.
you're an easy target.
Yeah.
So ableist of you.
So.
Sorry.
You made me do it.
I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's
Crunches.
something-
It basically hits him from afar. I would say that it unfortunately wasn't. It was a javelin, you said? Or was
Yeah,
it?
javelin.
Yeah. So it sort of hits him kind of in a part of his sort of upper shoulder area that's like was really heavily armored.
Yeah.
So it kind of knocked him down for a second on the hill, but then he because it's a hill, he just sort of pushes himself back up and he
Stupid
he
hill.
keeps going.
Yeah.
Is he gonna have disadvantage on shooting arrows now?
Uh,
Shoulder wounds.
maybe.
Oh.
So.
I just don't want to look like a porcupine by the time I get to the top.
Anything else you're doing?
We've got everybody in the part. Hanging on for dear life and hoping we get into this airship before there are any more arrows than anybody else. Hanging on for dear life to nothing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hanging on to red pencil for dear life.
No, red pencil's just like we're still like superheroing and just like throwing things at people now.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, go die. Yes.
So
That's exactly what we're doing.
me. 2 arrows get fired up at you.
Of course they do.
Diversionary tactics.
I rolled a 2 and a 4, so
Nope.
nope and nope.
Definitely not.
They fly past your rapidly rising self. The wolves
leather jacket is
seem
like
to they basically go to like the edge of the pit and just bark madly.
Cool.
And
No, that's smart.
Ren is kind of looking around and is just now starting to like experiment with like how much they can move their body and
Did they notice me like
Throw a javelin.
throwing things?
I'll say because of their passive perception, yeah, which is why they started to do that. They started
Yeah.
to be okay, like what can I do and that kind of thing, and they're also you can see that Ren is moving weirdly. That's all I can say. Like there's something about Ren's body that is like and because you're so rapidly rising
Yeah.
and like all of a sudden you're like I don't know, like it's hard not to get dizzy no matter how sturdy your constitution is. Like you look up and all of a sudden you're like way
Mine is
above
15.
everything else. You're way above the tree line, or at least getting there. But Ren's body is weirdly moving.
That's weird.
Like,
He would.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain it any further than that. If you were sitting still and looking at Ren while this was happening, I would explain it in far more detail.
Yeah.
But right now, it's
Like
just
having a
like
seizure or
it's like Ferg having the thought, wait, what am I looking at?
Just a vague uncanny valley
Yes,
in your peripheral
yeah.
vision.
Totally.
Bodies don't move that way.
Exactly.
Well, I guess would Ren recognize my brother? I would imagine if
Yeah.
he's cognizant enough, he would recognize. Him.
Well, has Ren seen your brother since you fucked up his face?
So
Good point.
randomly rolled. I'm
Sorry.
going to say that there was a very large chance that he would have known your brother. I'm going to say that Ren has never met your brother.
I can see that.
Also,
Your brother is actually not a spellcaster. So there's that. And many of your family are. Many of your family are either clerics or wizards, or as I like to call them, what do I like to call them?
The educated class of casters.
Do I like to call them?
Wicks.
I named them, and now I forgot that I named them.
You told me.
I know.
Oh, is this... You named them like wasp name?
I'm looking for it. They're either life stewards or death stewards. Life stewards would be the cleric version of your sort of spellcasting family, and death stewards are like the necromancer version of your family's sort of art and lineage.
Okay. Life stewards aren't like magical midwives.
You know, they would.
They can, probably.
Yeah, they could, depending on the practical skills that they've trained. But just because they're life stewards doesn't mean they are midwives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where are we? Ren moving his body weirdly. Sparky. Another
got this.
death save.
Oh,
Sparky be
okay.
good.
High five for bringing up Uncanny Valley.
Maybe that'll get me a good fucking roll. God damn it. Should I use my inspiration? Or...
So what I would do if I were you is I would use it on the next roll. Because you have the distinct advantage of rolling, seeing what you get, and then spending it.
And right now your count's full.
Right now you got 2 and 2. So your next roll is going to make or break. So I would consider using it on your next roll.
Unless you really want to wake up this turn for some reason.
Yeah, that's...
No, I don't
totally
need
your
to wake
prerogative.
up. I guess I kind of want to be awake before getting up there.
Yeah, but just in terms of resource management, I would wait until next round.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just what I would do.
Yeah. But somebody could do something maybe for me before if I roll poorly again.
I don't know what you mean.
Like,
Well, he's saying if you roll poorly
mushroom
again next
or-
turn, then you can just use an
Spend the
inspiration and
inspiration.
make it better.
Yeah.
And then
Right, but what if I roll poorly again?
It's statistically impossible to...
because of the way we do inspiration, you
Yeah.
get 10 plus a roll
right,
below
right,
10,
right.
and you need
It's-
a higher than 10 to get a success.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
basically, using inspiration on a death save is an automatic success.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically.
that makes sense.
So yeah, I would wait till next time.
Okay, fair enough.
Because then Bill's basically saying if you're successful next time, you don't waste your inspiration.
Yes, I forgot that inspiration. I can't get below a 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so you just fill out your boat. Well, you got 2 fails. You can take it.
Thank you.
Yes.
After-
I got you.
So early for so many death
After
saves.
Sparky. So the creatures... Okay. This creature starts to move around. It is certainly not as cautious or sharp as any of you. And it begins to kind of throw its body around. And its body detaches and falls down about 5 feet and reattaches.
Oh.
And does so basically like right where time is.
Ooh, imagine like those things that you throw against the wall that like slowly make their way down. Like
And
everything.
also
like
keep
flat thing.
also keep in mind that you're probably about 40 feet from the ship at this point. Like you've traveled quite the distance. And you can also tell, especially you, Kath, because you're conscious, right?
Yeah, I'm
you
conscious,
you rolled
and I'm
20.
on top.
Hot. So basically, you get to that point, and you can also tell that you've dramatically slowed down now. You've slowed down now to like the speed that you were at before, going about 20 feet.
So like
every 3
someone
seconds.
kicked our, so it feels like someone kicked our speed up and then slowed us back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't like run right into the ship. One would hope.
Or
Yeah.
maybe they were trying to get us out of the range of arrows.
Maybe.
Well, even at a disadvantage, the creature essentially rends into time, and not only that, but they detach and they begin a free fall
Into the pit.
into. I would just say down to the ground, like more than 100 feet down, free fall.
Fuck.
They
Okay.
kind of fall away from.
Are you punishing?
Sidebar,
Being
honestly,
bad?
guys. Can any of us? Can you do anything about that? I can't either. Can you do any? What are your
'cause-
spells? Can you do anything about that?
I'm not awake.
Oh,
Whose
fuck, you're dead.
rope did we use?
Cat.
We use my rope.
Okay.
You could
I
pull
have-
from my rope. I have a rope in my
I have 50 feet of rope.
Kath,
Yes.
as
I
you,
probably can't see this happening. I'm the highest up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
I
see.
would
past-
actually say that you cannot see that. That's and I'm also basing a lot of what you can and cannot see off your
'Cause
passive
all
perception.
three of
You
them
can
are
make a
between
perception
us.
check if you'd like.
I mean, I honestly don't have a rope, but I don't think I could do anything. Like,
Okay.
I don't think I could see past Ferg and Sparky.
All of a sudden, you're 20 feet away from the platform, and you see heavily
I really don't want to be
armed,
the first person up there either.
heavily armed and armored, I guess guards that have like heavy helms on, like helms that you cannot see their faces at all.
Okay.
And
Can I say something to them?
and they lay down arms,
Mhm.
and as you're approaching them, they have their arms out to almost like usher you into
Okay.
this. It's basically leading you up to this like massive, gigantic platform
Okay.
that's
As they
somehow suspended below this massive airship.
Okay. As they grab me, I think I would say, "We were attacked. The child." And then I would like indicate to Sparky, like coming up right behind me, like that she's like really needs help as I like spit out blood.
Okay, and and as you're spitting out blood, so they both grab you. They all have like heavily. They're very, very well armored. Heavy armor, you would say, mostly metal. They basically grab you by the arms and pull you in. They don't pull you in in a manner that hurts you, but the moment you're in, then they hand you off to two other guards who don't let you go.
Okay.
And they basically have you. Okay?
Okay. I'm
Okay.
not gonna react to it. I'm gonna just wait till everyone else is up here with me.
Right. And you just
I've
kind
been to
of
Falstein before. I know that I'm not in the best company for right now.
totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anyway.
So Ren is underneath you. Is that correct? Is that the order? Ren, what?
Yeah.
When did Ren and
It
Time
goes
come in?
me, you, Connor, Ren, and then
Creature
Time
and
and
Time,
Creature
but-
are free falling to their
Right,
death.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe Ren would be beneath the creature in Time. I wasn't sure.
Ren was below the creature.
No, Ren was right above the creature, and then the
Oh,
creature
yeah.
dropped.
And
on
I
its
will
own.
actually say that right when you're grabbed, Sparky is then grabbed.
Okay, yeah, like 'cause
basically
we were like right
after
on
that.
top of each other.
You see a
Yeah.
very, very bizarrely robed person
Okay.
approach Sparky right away as they bring her off to the side, and they immediately cast a spell on Sparky, and you have you gain 12 points back.
And Kath was just like
think
watching
that's
this
right.
really concerned, and when he sees like life start to come back into her, he like basically like starts to cry a little bit and says, "Thank the Mycelian," and like relaxes in the guard's arms, like less tense.
Right. Does that heal you all the way up to full?
It
I only have
does.
7 hit
Why do I have
points.
7 and then why do I have a 12 here? Did I have temporary hit points for something?
I
must have had.
You might have for
temporary-
one of your wild effects, but
I do not know, but my question is where is your maximum hit points? In
her
this?
max is 7.
My max
As
is
a-
7, but I had a 12 and I had some temporary hit points for something and I don't know what
Okay.
it was.
Well, how about we'll just say the temporary hit points are now gone.
All right.
It heals you up to full.
Okay.
You're heavily bruised, and you feel all of where you've taken damage.
Don't
but
put them in the tent. Put them up in your max and just erase all of those. Because otherwise you're going to get confused
current.
again.
Okay. Yeah.
and but for all intents and purposes, you are fully functional right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you just feel like your
So
body's
wake
been
up.
battered around a lot.
Do I recognize the person who just healed me when I was
You
there?
do. We're gonna get to that on your turn
Okay.
now. Essentially, you are looking into the eyes of your nanny.
Do I love my nanny?
You really do.
Aww.
Time is in a free fall,
It's your
and
gusty thing
there's
to get back in the light.
not much that she can do right now, Ferg.
You can't say nobody knows that's happening. You
So-
can't
The
change
two of us
tractor
don't know
beam.
that.
So
That's
let me
happening.
explain something about my DMing a little bit. I almost don't want to explain this because it's like because it kind of takes a little I don't know, the danger away. But I never ever will kill a player's character when they're gone. Ever.
Except for that one bard.
Kind of you.
However,
That's
I
right, though.
will do fun things with them inside of narrative.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So with our perception, do we see time getting kicked out of
Proverbial
the
stream.
tractor beam and
yes,
free
oh,
falling?
absolutely you do.
Cool.
And you also see that Farron sees that, and Farron says time, and you can see that like just due to their body mechanics, they're considering like jumping after them.
Yeah. So we're gonna grab our rope that's right here, and like wrap our fist in one end and then yell at time like, hope this works, weirdo, and like
Make a dexterity check, like just a dexterity check, because you're only doing this with one hand.
20.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, you absolutely
You're
do
fine.
that with one hand. But I mean, like you're being lifted up very at a
Yeah.
rapid pace.
Yeah.
That kind
No.
of thing. Everything's a little dizzy.
I
At this point.
don't expect any of this to be easy. And we're gonna just like whip the end of the rope down at time and be like, grab onto this rope, weirdo.
Shit.
You're not allowed to die yet.
So it's to your horror that you realize that time has already fallen past the 50-foot marker. Like it's
Fuck.
Drop the rope and tell Farron to catch it.
Yeah, we'll drop the rope to Ren and be like, hey Ren, your turn. Do we feel like Ren is close enough to time?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Well, to time.
So if Ren gets the rope, are Ren and time close enough that 50 feet will help?
How about this? I'll let you know what happens. You drop the rope.
Yeah.
You're hoping that it's going to be useful to Ren.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're like, hey Ren, catch this shit. You're right below us.
Is Ren still moving weird?
Ren.
I tried.
Just laugh.
Yeah. I would say that yes, Ren is still moving weird.
Alright.
Um,
I don't know, but I'm really afraid for time right now.
I'm afraid for me. They
okay.
think I killed her.
I don't know what's going on up there.
Two
so.
arrows
That's
you
fair.
see
Oh yeah, I guess I can.
like
not
basically whiz past
They're definitely
Ren,
gonna think I killed you.
Oh.
Fuck.
not harming them.
Good.
And
Fuckers.
and then
We just scream fuckers at the people.
Right.
Even
And
though they
then
can't hear us.
Ren basically looks up to you and he goes, "I got this!" And then just detaches and falls towards and then basically like you're by the time you're being like, "What the fuck are you?" You're up on the platform
Yeah.
and you do not see what happened. You don't see, like, all you can see is this, like you're kind of brought up in the middle of this, like, circular platform, and this light is sort of emanating kind of, like, in this, almost this weird sphere. And then the moment that you're up, you're grabbed by a couple of burly guards, all in armor, can't see their faces. And that's actually where we're going to take the first break.
Can we see each other, though? Like, we're
Absolutely.
like right next to each other?
Everyone can see each other, yeah. And
Okay,
everyone's
good.
just like, and everyone's just sort of like waiting for Ren and time to get up, and that never happens.
Okay.
Fuck.
So there's just like this like awkward like...
Is the kid okay?
And then I'm just like, I like indicate with my head over to her.
Sparky's conscious.
Cool. Sparky, why? Sparky, get us out of this.
Well, I'm going to, but it's not my turn.
Okay.
We're just like, hey, get us out of this.
So you
Yeah.
you find yourselves unceremoniously dumped onto an open-aired loading platform, complete with a staff of engineers busily moving about, either servicing or heading to service smaller flying vessels that sit here safely docked and strangely shielded from much, if any, outside gusts of wind or air or anything like that. It's so the moment you came up on top of the platform, it's almost like you went from like it being super windy to almost no wind.
But it's
at
like a
all.
launching platform, right, for other like smaller things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost consider this as, on a certain level like a little bit of a helipad.
Okay.
Was the wind was coming from the Zeppelins?
Well, you're not sure. You were so high up. I mean, it was probably a combination of like the airship and the actual like being so high up and that kind of thing. But yes, it was very windy.
Okay.
Stairs lead up into the innards of this beast of a Zeppelin on each side of the squarish platform, having an obvious Fallenstein wizard on each of these platforms that they lead up to. Greeting you are a half dozen well-armed and armored guards, accompanied by a fanciful human, which I was basically your nanny.
My nanny with the crazy robes.
Yes, a fanciful human in resplendent robes adorned with the colors of purple and white with gold trim and the sigil of the striving city upon their forehead.
I imagine Lily Tomlin and Grace and Frankie.
Their makeup application is both disarming and puzzling, reminding you of some sort of ever-smiling doll. The more you stare at their face, the more sinister this visage becomes in its placidity. So
I love her.
you do. It doesn't occur to you as sinister.
To us, it occurs as
Okay,
sinister.
so can I react?
We're
to
like,
her?
whoa, what's with dolls?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll take-
as you're kind of coming out of things, your nanny says, "Welcome, honored guests, aboard the luxurious Sky Spectre, Terra Sentia's only way to travel. Lumia, my dearest, it is a pleasure to see you unharmed. I need to remind you that you could have gotten yourself hurt or worse in your attempts to sow your noble oats. It is well that you have chosen to surround yourself with capable bodyguards. My condolences for those who did not survive your sojourn." She tries to say sojourn, but can't say it right. You're safe now. She kind of takes you and come with me.
Wait.
Your companions shall be taken to the commons deck to refresh themselves and enjoy their stay on the Sky Spectre.
Okay. Wait, but what do you mean? Somebody who didn't survive? And Kath has arrows and blood's coming out of his mouth and what happened? Are you okay right now?
No.
I've got a couple bruises and you see some like bloody punctures, but
So
mostly I'm just like.
And Ferg might freak out and then you might kill him, so just hang on a second.
She pats your face. It's okay. You're safe now. We will take care of your friends. And she, or I should say they. So you know a little bit about, so this is Bogenschultz. And they are known amongst your people as a necrothrall.
Okay.
They have been bred for service since they were born.
Okay.
They are loyal. They are exacting. They are also eunuchs. They do not have any sort of genitalia.
So whether they were female or male born, they were castrated.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they
and they're dead?
They are not dead. However, you have heard rumors that when they do die, they will be animated so that they can serve out the length of however long their body will last.
That's fucked up.
Gross.
And
How are these people civilized exactly? Slaves, and then other slaves, and then like death
Doesn't mean
slaves.
good.
so she lets go. So they let go of you, and they approach Keth, and
I'm like,
and she and they say, I may have permission to touch you.
If you mean no harm.
And so they reach out and they sort of palpate your torso, especially around your wounds. And they're very gentle. And they are basically taking stock of your injuries.
Okay.
And then in a very, very, very rough moment, they go from gentle to breaking off the arrows very quickly. And it hurts like hell. And then they cast a series of enchantments that allow the arrow to not only expel itself, but heal the wound.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Because it has to go all the way.
yeah.
I'm just
Feeling
like
I'm sorry,
basically
that
like
hurts.
gritting my teeth and trying not to scream in her face the entire. Well, I guess above her face the entire time. I assume
Yeah.
she's not as tall as me.
And
I'm like crying.
no,
watching
she's
you
not
do
as
this.
tall as you, but she's certainly not. But they're certainly not short. And they say, with that sort of very weird doll-like smile, "You are amongst friends." And
I am not comfortable.
and I would like you to make a perception check, please.
I suck at perceiving things, guys.
I know.
Get better.
Ugh,
Oh no, you did not get
I
better.
got an 8.
Um,
You know what? I think my pain has just like sharpened my senses so much that it really just inspires me to like study my surroundings because I don't want that. 15, 16. It was an inspiration.
Okay.
One left.
I love that we're just like burning it.
You realize why they have such a weird, awkward, and heavy lisp is that their canines have been filed down both on the top and the bottom of their set of teeth,
Okay.
and it just doesn't. It's not. You can tell that that's not necessarily natural to this creature. It's almost as if
Is it a vampire?
it's almost as if you yourself had to file down your canines.
Huh?
Me?
Yeah, Keth.
What?
I have tusks though. I don't know if I on my bottom.
Right.
So like they would normally have tusks, kind of thing, or like something.
This
bigger.
actually might have been an orc.
Oh, okay. Shit.
You can't.
And the
touch my
moment
tongue
you
is
the
the
moment
makeup?
you say, the moment you recognize that, she very lovingly like puts their hand on your face, and she says, just repeats again, "You are safe now," and then goes right back to you and says, "Lumia, it is so good to see you. Your auntie is waiting, up in the control deck. We will see her
Am I
now.
in trouble?
I'm not gonna lie. Yes."
Can we go with her?
Oh no. You have to report to the commons deck. This has to be done in a separate fashion.
I don't want them to leave. I want Kath to come with me.
I know that you don't want that, sweetie, but this is not your decision. It is your Aunt Lucy's. And right now, she has the command over the Fallenstein, or the Sky Spectre. Sorry, the Sky Spectre.
What
I
about
wanna
our friends
protest,
that were
but I just
falling?
know
Can
it'll
we-
be
can we-
futile.
Can we go try to get them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they did fall inside of a free fall, I'm afraid that they are most likely dead.
Did
No.
anybody see them? Like, your guards just pulled us in. What happened? Like, and
One is
they
the
were
noble
looking
Rin
out.
of Rosex.
Yeah, one of them is a friend of Dad's. He'll care.
I'm afraid that gravity does not care, and I do not. I do not say that to make light of their.
And another is a being out of time. I'm pretty sure that they did something to survive.
We just want to know if the guards saw anything.
Can we at least go look over the edge? Can you let my arms go?
Well, now that the light beam is no longer on. So yeah, Bogenschultz looks over to the guards and does like 3 quick and so then they simultaneously let go of you.
Okay, I want to go look over the edge.
Was Ferg being held by guards?
Yes.
Okay. Do they let go of me as well?
No, but you also didn't request it.
I did. I said,
My
"Let us
friend
go."
does not like to be touched as well. Can you please at least release him?
Can I have your word that you are not to harm anyone on this ship?
Ferg's eyeball is twitching.
That does
You'll
not
have my friend's
instill me
word,
with-
I'm sure, once you let him go. He is triggered. He's a barbarian. He tends to be triggered by his personal space being intruded upon.
I will be perfectly honest with you, Mr. Barbarian.
I'm not. Just let me go.
And I say, I will be perfectly honest with you, Mr. Barbarian. You are in a ship of not only hundreds of passengers, but multitudes of Fallenstein guards that will kill you at a moment's notice, no matter who you are.
Cool. Let me go. Stop touching me.
For promise not to hurt
And I
him.
think,
won't hurt
and she
him.
says, so I need your word first.
I won't hurt anybody if they don't piss me off.
That is unacceptable.
I won't hurt anyone. And this vein is just throbbing.
Yeah, and so then
I will help
Bogenschultz
keep my
looks
friend
at the
in check.
guards and the guards let go of you simultaneously.
Oh, vein stops throbbing.
Thank you. And then I want to go look over the edge.
What?
I want to go look over the edge. Can we see the ground below or the pit?
You're very high up right now. Make a perception check, and that goes for you too if you'd like to.
Yes, I'm definitely.
I did not perceive things.
16.
You do not see
Can I do it
any
too?
evidence of anything.
Can you let us back onto the ground to find to look for our friends' bodies at the very
We
least?
can't leave the kid.
We can't.
What's
Bogen-
going? Did I
have
just say that?
charisma. Can I do any? I mean, I don't know if this
Of what?
creature is
Mm.
persuadable, but I feel like
Bogenschultz?
Yeah, I want to like do more investigating about our friends.
Oh well, what do you say to Bogenschultz?
Like, please, none of these people help me survive. They help Dad with his wiener pills.
and Bogenschultz does one of these. Like they just don't get that on any level. And they say,
We will consider it after you're done talking to your Aunt Lucy.
Okay, and I just sigh and know there's just no. This is a
It is.
brick wall.
I will be honest with you, as I have always done. It is highly unlikely.
"We're here having such joke." That's not what Bogenschultz does, but that's what Bill's doing. So
I hope Ren has wings.
Bogenschultz says,
I'm gonna be honest with you, like I've always done in the past.
I just rolled double 20s. That was a waste.
"It was a waste. I want you to feel that. I want you to feel
Yeah.
that waste."
I feel
Yeah,
it
feel
so hard.
it.
You guys don't even understand.
Um,
Look, I legit rolled double 20s. Sorry.
This passenger ship is heading to Fallenstein. It is highly unlikely that we will. I'm not comfortable with tears, and you know that.
Ferg's
well,
just scowling.
see,
Like,
and
I'll
if
break you
it's
out,
up
kid.
to me, I will put a good word in for you, and you know that. But you have.
I have powers. I don't know what to do with them.
hey, kid, maybe like just hush. Go talk to your auntie. Don't say anything if you can help it.
Yeah. So I think Bogenschultz, the only thing Bogenschultz does is just like hold you, and you know like a there kind of thing, but wordlessly. You know, Bogenschultz smells comfortable to you.
Just the smell, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
However, you were picking up a little bit of weird, like, there's a little weird smell from the guards, like a sour milk smell.
Little rotten.
Like from the guards and like from Bogenschultz. And
Yeah, like maybe they like wear their armor too long.
Ew.
I mean,
Maybe they're like.
would Ferg be able to distinguish that as like
Make an insight check.
undeath or just like dirty people? Because Ferg's is used to being around dirty people.
Mm-hmm.
Insight. Where are we?
Actually, I'll take perception, actually over insight.
Oh, okay. So that's a 9.
9. It's really reminding you of just dirty people or people who have spent too much time in armor.
Okay. We just whispered to Kath, like, for being rich, these guys smell like scum.
Bogenschultz, however, does not smell like that.
What is Bogenschultz?
I would say
You gonna go sniff 'em?
very,
No, I'm hoping that I can smell
very
from-
well bathed, manicured, very well taken care of, perfumed, not overly such. You know,
Yeah.
really just like a well-balanced, pleasant smell.
Huh.
Whereas the guards are a little.
Yeah. And it's weird whispering to Kath because we're like,
You mostly noticed it when they had you restrained.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're trying to stay as near Sparky as we can without looking intimidating. We've totally like lashed the red pencil to our backs because we're playing nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wouldn't just throw somebody over the edge anyway.
I was
Right.
thinking the same thing. Just body lift somebody,
Yeah.
drop them in the hole.
Bye.
So, Bogenschultz,
We are not saying this out loud, to be clear.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Bogenschultz
We're
is
on
going
the
to
same plane.
point over distantly to a kind of an area, like a cylindrical area that opens up. It actually kind of reminds you a little bit of the opening that you guys came through on this massive platform, and you have to go past like several like of these small varieties of airships that are like sitting on this massive platform. And so if you go past there and you Bogenschultz directs you to the lift, as they call it, and that will take you up to the common area.
Where are they taking Sparky? Or are we all going up to the common area and then Sparky's going?
Here, I would say that Bogenschultz, as at that question, just tilts their head to you. Is that what you're calling yourself nowadays? Lumia, you need to keep me apprised of these things. I don't want to call you by the name that you don't want to be called by. I love you, my dear.
Then call me Spartacus.
Spartacus.
I forgot that.
You should have said, I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have gone over. I am Spartacus! um,
Little
so
squeaky half elf.
right,
Or,
right.
sorry, halfling.
Um,
The sickness is really making you sound like a little halfling kid.
I know.
Spartacus. And then she kind of leans into you. That sounds very courageous.
I've had a lot of adventures lately.
I'm sure you'll have many more. Best that you have them while reading, though. It's much safer.
What is her name again?
Bogenschultz.
Bogenschultz.
Yeah.
Bogey.
Okay, here's the thing. When I was choosing this NPC name, I fucking knew you were gonna nickname her that or nickname them that. Yeah, yeah,
Or
Um,
Schultz.
yeah.
Schultzy. I like Bogey better.
Yeah.
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 Schultzy. Schultzy, that's from something.
So
Yeah.
So Bogenschultz says,
We are taking Spartacus to the command center.
Yeah, I
You unfortunately are not invited.
We are her bodyguards, as it were.
Yeah.
But
She's
in-
an important
But
person,
in the presence of Bogenschultz, I am her bodyguard. I have been her nanny since birth. So this is not unseen territory for me. I assure you.
Sparky did hire us herself, but if you feel that we can't come with her, then
Oh, if it's a matter of payment, I will make sure that you are paid for your time as her bodyguard, no matter if you are actively guarding her person or not. That can be arranged.
Well,
Not-
I just
not a
think it's up
problem.
to Sparky if she wants us to come with her.
In this case, it is not. It's a family matter. And I mean that in no disrespect.
All right, kids.
Bogey's not gonna budge, you guys. Just to get this over with, and I'll find you in a little bit, okay? Go get something to eat.
I am a
and-
delicate but persistent hammer.
Ferg really
I
respects
wish I
that.
had filmed you saying that right now. I know we have it. But...
Ferg pulls this little tiny book out of their back pocket.
Ooh, what's that?
None of your business.
I meant no disrespect.
I wasn't disrespecting you.
He's a very
Hands it to Sparky and is like,
close to the chest person.
you bring this back to me, okay?
Thanks, Ferg. I'm
Yeah.
super stoked that Ferg gave me something.
Well, it's because Ferg is like, it's a book, so if Ferg's lending it to you and says bring it back, you have to bring it back. Or
But
Ferg's
you
gonna
have to
hunt
come
it
back
down.
to Ferg.
Conan the Librarian.
Yes.
All right. So
This is Ferg's way of saying that they care.
Like
Yeah.
and like a,
I will
yeah,
come for you.
And like a like a tracking device, like a Terminator honing device.
Well, isn't that nice?
Sure. So where's this common deck?
Did you get healed too, by the way?
No.
Can you heal my friend as well really quick before we go on? I know he looks like he's okay, but he's actually not doing that great right now. He's just stoic as fuck.
and
I've been
Bogenschultz
dripping blood this
leans
entire time.
into you, not like really close,
Yeah.
because you've obviously expressed sort of spatial,
Yeah.
So Bogenschultz has heard that, leans in a little bit and says, "Is that true? Do you request healing?"
Can you do it without touching me?
I'm afraid not.
Ferg just holds
She's
out a
really good at
pinky,
it.
holds out a hand, and is like, fine, do your shit, and like looks away.
My dear, you know full well that this is not how that works.
And Bogenschultz actually comes in for the kill, but really delicately and really slowly, so that you see all of
It's
these
not-
specific
she can't
movements.
be that good if she can't heal me with just my hand. And Ferg's just
She's
standing there
probably
like,
a level 2,
nah.
dude. Give her a break.
I know.
Yeah, and-
Ferg's just standing there like, just get this over with.
And as it turns out, like you were kind of saying that, talking to yourself, like, well, she couldn't be that good. And Bogenschultz says, "My dear, nobody is that good." And basically takes
Yeah,
one
that'd be
hand
great.
and puts it on your shoulder, which is one of the most wounded areas, and then one hand that's on the like your side, and then says some enchantments, and you get back 6 points of healing.
Now, follow the guards Drink your whiskey because there was a hiccup.
Cheers, folks.
What was the book that you gave me?
It's just a little journal verse. You don't understand why it's important to Ferg.
Okay.
Except that it's a book, and Ferg seems to really highly value.
Follow the guards into the lift funnel. They will direct you to there, and when you enter, will yourself upwards.
Can we make an insight check to see if we think we're gonna get like put in a prison or
Absolutely,
something like
yeah,
that?
go for it.
Oh,
17.
Ferg has no idea.
There is nothing indicating that there is going to be anything untoward happening to you. As a matter of fact, as weird as Bogenschultz is to you, the thing that Bogenschultz exudes is trustworthiness.
Okay. I guess I'll follow what they tell me to do then.
Right. And so then, Spartacus
Sorry.
will see you tomorrow morning.
Are you sure we can't come like see her sooner before that?
I am positive.
Okay,
This
let's
is not up
just
for
get some
negotiation.
sleep.
Okay.
Please follow the guards. And the guards begin to walk. And there's 2 guards that stay behind to make sure that you kind of are ferried along.
All right.
Come with me, my dear. And then Bogenschultz takes Spartacus and leads them.
Hang on to that book, kid. Yeah.
I'll see you soon. Thanks for saving me.
Who wants to go first? You two or Spartacus?
That's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
Which storyline you feeling?
So I'll say that I'm gonna do you two first.
Okay.
So you are led to what they call the lift funnel, and basically it's this gigantic funnel, and it's just a straight drop. And the 2 guards basically kind of go up and flank the entrance to the lift funnel, and both at the same time transfer their spear to one hand and then do this, ushering you inside.
And then I look at Ferg and say, where there's a will, there's a way.
The thing set up.
You've seen these before. They are sort of like levitation funnels.
So it's like 2, we just get in and
It sucks us up.
will ourselves up.
Yep, and you know, you're a little unsteady when you step in because obviously you're waiting for gravity to take hold, and it never does. And it essentially takes a hold of you. It doesn't feel too dissimilar to the beam that hit you before, except now you feel like you're completely under your control. And you begin to think upwards, and you move upwards. You move about 20 feet per 6 seconds. And there are openings. There are different levels that you actually are passing up. Each of I would say the first 3, now I'm going to say 4 levels are levels that like guards are there at the entrance with like spears crossed. So it's clearly not
The way we're supposed
the
to
way
go.
to go.
Yeah.